Antisocial acolytes.
What is a Juggalo? So, some of you may be aware of what a Juggalo is. It's those people who are fans of Insane Clown Posse, which is a very, very wonderful, underrated band, or group, whatever you want to say. So there you go, spoiler alert. Insane Clown Posse, it's a horrorcore, or, I don't know, whatever the fuck you want to call it, rap group. It's, really kind of its own thing. It's pretty original for the most part, like entirely. In fact, people copy them. But what's even cooler about that is whenever you rip off ICP and you do the whole clown thing, you're just a part of their family. So, yeah, Juggalos are all about family and bonding and communication and killing pedophiles and stuff. So, yeah, they're known for their very violent lyrics, but actually it's all really positive. It's quite surprising. So let's talk about their roots. ICP started in the early 90s in Detroit, Michigan, which is, they got to see a lot of shit. They definitely have a lot of kind of like downward spiral of the auto industry and everything like that, and their music and the way they grew up and shit like that. So they started after they were friends, blah, blah, blah. But originally they actually had a different name because they were trying to do kind of like a gangster rap kind of thing. It was called Inner City Posse. So people kind of started to learn a little bit about them. They would shorten it to ICP. So people would be like, yeah, you go to that ICP show? And they're like, yeah, I saw ICP. So they actually ended up changing their name after they realized their whole gangster rap thing wasn't working out. And they had a more original kind of cohesive kind of rhythm and flow to them. So they changed their name to Insane Clown Posse, which I didn't actually know that. I thought it was really interesting that they used to be known as something else, and they were just like, well, people know ICP already, so let's just make it something that's a variation of that. So their whole iconic name and whole setup and get-ups and everything are based off a limitation that they had in keeping with the ICP so people would recognize them. Basically, after doing that, they made their first album, and in working on that, they met their longtime producer, Mike E. Clark, Mr. Clark. Carnival of Carnage. I wish I could get that picture up here for you. There you go. You might have seen this before. It's kind of like their demo. I mean, there's some other stuff, but that's like their putting it out in the world kind of thing. It's alright. It's not really terrible. Yeah, so they started working on that. They made a lot of connections. In fact, it's kind of crazy. So on their first album, they actually had a couple features from other Michigan and Detroit artists, such as Kid Rock, which is kind of crazy thinking about how close-knit this whole early like hip-hop scene was in Detroit. And we're going to see the kind of downside of that happening a little later on in this segment. But yeah, so that was their first release. It was met with like kind of mediocre reviews. People were like, oh, this kind of sucks. But within their like little area of Detroit, people were actually fucking with it, and that got them on the map. So scrolling down a little bit, we're going to get to their best album, which is The Great Malenko. And that's just a fact that that's their best album, but also that makes me a poser. There you go. There's the Great Malenko himself. So the story of this album is actually really interesting. So originally they were supposed to release it on Hollywood Records, who paid like $1 million to buy their contract out from Jive, another record label. And in doing so, Hollywood Records is actually owned by Disney. So they started recording it after being bought out, and they released they had all the demos and everything like that. And Disney was like, okay, you can do this, but you're not releasing the Net and Game, Under the Moon, or Boogie Woogie Woo. And then they also made them tone down the lyrics quite a bit as well. And surprisingly enough, ICP was actually like, okay, we'll do it, because I guess they're signed to Disney and they knew this was going to be probably one of their best albums ever. I guess they kind of were on the ball on that one. Hollywood released it and then like immediately pulled it. So there's actually Hollywood copies out right now, or that you can find from 97. And it was released and they immediately pulled it. Kind of because of, kind of mentions it right here, the Southern Baptist Convention was like, oh, Disney is a bunch of godless bastards promoting homosexual. Oh, man. Oh, God. We hate homosexuals because we're Baptists, I guess.
Wait, pull on my camera real quick. It's a deer. It's a little deer. He's crossing. This is wonderful. It's a wonderful sight of nature to share with you all. Alright, sorry. Continue on.
Fuck you guys. Anyways, yeah, back to this. So, the Southern Baptist Convention was like, oh, hell no, Disney's promoting gay pride at Disneyland? Fuck that shit. What happened to our family values? It's ABC Family. It's ABC Family, not ABC Homosexuals. And Disney was like, ICP will not release their album. And in fact, all copies will need to be pulled right now. So they kind of used ICP as a scapegoat. Anyways, in the aftermath of that, their contract was actually sold to Island Records. So they released The Great Malenko the way it was meant to be, which good on them. And pretty much it was a giant success for ICP. It was certified fucking platinum. And that's insane because, like, I mean, they had their own little clique in Michigan, and the other albums that came out before it were definitely helping set up. Plus, they were signed to a pretty good label, minus the whole fucking with their image and style stuff. But yeah, it was their first album to go platinum, and the one after that also did as well, based off the hype of this. And it kind of got mediocre reviews, but yeah, this was their fucking album that everybody was down with. Down with the clown. Yeah,
let's
there we
fucking go.
It's really funny because actually the Hollywood Records version of this album is worth like $200 now. I'm sure it maybe even more, but like you can get it and it has the censored songs
just
and everything.
The CD?
Yeah, because like there was only so many released, so it's like an ICP collector's like holy grail kind of. So let's go on to controversies with Insane Clown Posse. So their most famous and most interesting controversy is actually they had a feud with Eminem. Can you believe that? They're both from Detroit, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, there was actually a controversy with Eminem. I have the deets right here. One day when M was still on the come up, kind of, and ICP was, there still. It was right around, I think, Great Malenko era. Eminem was like, "Hey guys, I'm doing a show for my album drop, and hey, you guys gonna come?" And he showed him a flyer, which I actually have a picture of the flyer. I dug around a little bit for it. But if you look right here, it says invited or in the house, and it shows ICP, which obviously they did not show up to this event because Eminem put them there before he even invited them or even asked. And I think it was Violent J was like, dude, what the fuck? Why'd you put us on the flyer? You didn't even fucking let us know, and you're going to put us on that shit? Like, how do you know I'm going to fucking go? And they told him to fuck off. Yeah, that pissed me off, too. I actually understand that.
That would annoy the shit out of me.
Like, hey, you're coming, right? Well, I put you on the flyer, so if you don't show it, you're a pussy. And it's like, dude,
bad
fuck
show
you.
etiquette. Come on, man.
Yeah, it is bad show etiquette. And that started the feud because after that, Violent J was like, dude, fuck you, dude. He was like, maybe a little mean about it, but justifiably so. And M started talking shit on the radio and was like, yeah, fuck ICP. They're dicks. I hate them. They're stupid. And then ICP had the brilliant idea to create a character who's just Slim Shady. But his name was Slim Anus. Yeah, got him good. He showed up first in a Twisted Song, which is another Juggalo. Yeah, eventually in 1999, they released a song called Slim Anus, which is just My Name Is. So it's like, hi, my name is, but actually it says My Anus. Slim Anus. Oh, got him.
That's high level, big brain.
It's actually very fucking funny. Like I would play it, but I don't want to get copyright striked. So on your own time, look it up. You'll probably fucking laugh your ass off, especially since it's old beef now. I cannot imagine somebody dropping a song like that about me and then like not laughing about it. But M. So his response is a lot more lame than writing a whole fucking parody song. He just fucking made a skit on the Marshall Mathers LP, and then he was like, "Oh, ICP's having sex with some gay guy," and then Shaggy 2 Dope is like, "Oh, Eminem, oh baby, oh God," which is like, I guess kind of funny, but that's like a pretty generic kind of rapper thing to do, especially back then. ICP's was a lot more creative. How did this beef end? Okay, so I found out it actually ended in a really funny way. So ICP just decided to hang out with this Detroit group called D12, which is Dirty Dozen, and Eminem used to be a part of it, right? So it's kind of just like a super group, or it's a hip hop collective. Like think Brockhampton, I guess today, or that's all I can think
Wolf,
of. Is Brockhampton.
what is it? What is Tyler Creator's thing? Wolf something?
Oh, Odd Future.
Odd Future, yeah.
Yeah, something like that, or the Little Wayne one. I forgot. Young Money. ICP went bowling with the guys from D12 or Dirty Dozen, and they just hung out. And Eminem wasn't even there at the bowling thing, but since they're his boys, they were like, you know what, fuck that beef, it's over now. And that was like in 2005. So a lot of people think ICP are just a bunch of fucking idiots, which, you know, they're fucking pretty hilarious at times, but they're actually good people, surprisingly enough. So they often, this is just kind of on here just to show you what kind of people they are. They fucking donate to charity all the fucking time. During the pandemic, they actually donated like old t-shirts and shit that they had lying around to be turned into masks like early on. I thought that was pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, they work with Toys for Tots and I don't know, Children's Miracle Network or whatever. I don't fucking know.
I'm assuming those t-shirts were clean t-shirts, right?
Let's hope so. You kind of know how ICP rules, so maybe not, but
Yeah,
I would not be surprised. Also, another interesting thing about them is their fans were actually declared a gang by the FBI. Juggalos are considered a gang, like a really loose gang, but still they're classified as a gang. ICP is really loyal to their fan base, and they actually, there was a whole Juggalo march on Washington relating to the whole like classification as them, because they were like, that's fucking bullshit. Our fans should have the right to assemble without being viewed as like a dangerous gang or shit like that. We're just all homies fucking chilling out. They had a whole march. They worked with the ACLU. They literally sued the FBI or are suing the FBI. There's not too many updates on that as of late, but like they actually moved to do that. I cannot believe how dedicated they are to their fan base. Some people critique them for their homophobic content, which is like the Slim Anus, pretty much, where the whole joke was like, I mean, Eminem and Dr. Dre have sex. Isn't that funny? And it's like, I mean, it was kind of funny, but some people would deem that homophobic. Violent J's like, yeah, back in the day, you know, we used to say faggot all the time, and that wasn't right, and now we're not going to say it anymore, because, man, back then we were stupid. We and they're like, we weren't saying it like to be super homophobic or anything, but sometimes we said shit that was just outright wrong. And like they don't try and say, oh well, we were kids. They don't try and justify it or anything. Like their homophobia here. They're just like,
just come out and say we fucked up. It's not good. We're done with that.
Exactly.
That's good. So what?
And they're disappointed in themselves. And I'm like, I totally believe that. You know, they're trying to work to be better people. Is really what it is. They were never really bad people. All the violent shit you hear, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking cut your throat. It's like all directed at shitty people, like women abusers, child abusers, and pedophiles and stuff like that. There's literally a song called "To Catch a Predator," and it's about what the guys would do if they ran to catch a predator. And it's you can probably imagine what they would do to them.
It's just edgy content, man. Edgy shit
with a positive message behind it too. It's great. They'll say that. They'll be like, yeah, all our bad words were actually, you know, just talking about good shit. It's just like kind of told from like a streets kind of way, is their whole thing. So yeah, honestly, ICP. What do you, after this? What do you give ICP? Do you think they deserve the hate they get?
I don't think they deserve all the hate. I've listened to a few of their songs before and been like, this is not too bad. And they seem like just guys trying to do their thing, not trying to spread too much hate, repentful for their homophobic shit in the past. So they're pretty cool. About an 8, I guess. They're cool.
I have to agree with you there. I mean, obviously I already came into this with an opinion because I'm presenting this wonderful segment. But yeah, ICP really underrated, honestly. They don't really deserve all the shit they get. If all you know from them is fucking magnets, how do they work? It's like, man, there's some pretty good songs on Great Malenko.